Hey, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are. Hey there, welcome back. My name is Jeff Fritz. Today is December 11th, 2018. We're going to write a little bit of code today. A little bit. We're going to take our time getting there. But first, I want to say good morning to all our friends there in the chat room. We have, there's Veronica. Hello, hello. And DJ Vortex, Bardaki's here, Ninja Ola, good day, good day. Let's see who else, HHXX, Code Rushed, hey, how's it going, Mark, good to see you. And Svava, what mischief, lots of great mischief we're going to get into today. Pirate Speaking No, an eclectic mix of classic British comedy humor from Bottom and Only Fools Horses. Hey, Stelzy, good to see you. I'm wearing my Cortana hat today because I wanted to answer some questions. I wanted to talk a little bit about software development careers today. Hey, Mr. Regs and Perry Digital Ox. Good morning. Had a couple really good questions, couple good discussions. Veronica actually kicked this off. We got to play some music. Yes, we will play some music, absolutely. But we had some good discussion starting over on Twitter, and I wanted to circle back around to it over here on the stream because I think a lot of us are in the software development field, and we want to kind of get our arms around what's it mean to have a career, how do we advance that career, and what's it mean to move forward in that without kind of leaving, not your fault at all. Oh my gosh, this is something that I think a lot of us run into, that you know, how do we continue to be fruitful, productive, and do something that we enjoy? And when we find that one thing that we enjoy, continue with it and feel good about ourselves. So let's play. I'm going to play Indigo. There we go. This is music to code by from our friend Carl Franklin. Of course. It's set up to get you in the groove, get you focused on whatever task it is that you have at hand, scientifically engineered.
Morning, Fritz and friends, C#bot.
Hey, good morning, Welsh Ronaldo. Thanks so much for that kind subscription. And of course, we'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. And I want to make sure that I come back and talk about that in just a little bit here. So I wanted to talk about career development. Let's change things up a little bit here. I'm going to, let's go over here. Hello, good to see you. So I've run into this question. I've run into this problem before, and I want to make sure that I'm talking to you in the chat room because I know particularly Veronica had a question about this, and I wanted to talk about my own personal story around this. And spend a little bit of time not writing code today. But let's talk about what it means to have a career in software development. Let me just start off by telling a little bit about my background story. Not sure why. There we go. But I wanted to talk a little bit about my story and what it means, what it meant for me to have a career. And then get some feedback from you in the chat room, and let's discuss here. And I'm bringing up and showing my GitHub here because I think there's a lot that we can learn from publishing things to our GitHub. I graduated college back in 1999. No, you didn't miss the boat, Rambling Geek. I'm the same. I'm about the same age. Are there plans to replace my 25-year-old profile pics? They're not that old. They're not that old. That's maybe 10 years old, that picture. I have been replacing some of them. It's not that bad. 43, there you go. Never too late. As long as you have a little bit of passion in you, you can get started with a career in software. But I graduated college in '99, and I came out of school, and I got immediately into Y2K problems, and it was it wasn't very fulfilling at all. It was actually kind of annoying. It was boring. It was lame. It was terrible. Nobody wanted to read through somebody else's crappy old code and look for 4-digit years and replace it. It felt like a huge waste of time because as soon as January 1st hit, now what are you going to do? And I got into, I was trained as a VB6 developer at a consulting firm. And trained is a good term for it because I didn't just learn how to write code. I was taught how to give presentations. I was taught how to write proposals. I was taught how to give reports, how to build reports. And those were important things that got me outside of just writing code. But it also, because I was working for a consulting firm, it exposed me to a lot of different companies, a lot of different organizations, a lot of different ways to build and write software and run businesses. You're right, VB6, those were the days. First programming language you learned, Ancient Coder. I was actually VB5 at college, and Fortran 77. That's right. Fortran 77.
And then?
Fortran 90.
And then?
VB5 after that.
And then?
Oracle 9, I want to say.
And then?
SQL 7.
And then?
SQL 2000.
And then?
SQL 2003, I want to say. Anyways. But I went through that whole progression, and it was nice to learn the technologies, but I felt like I was chasing things. Pascal, look at that. Oh my gosh. You feel young in the chat, Stelzy. Well, okay. We'll forgive you this one time. COBOL and QBasic. Yeah, Jester, I learned a little bit of QBasic, GW Basic. I learned a little bit of that as well. Basic on the Commodore 64 really was my first language I played with. Yeah, Rambling Geek. There you go. So, and then I stepped away for a bit and came back to Visual Basic. So, but working at the consulting firm, I was exposed to a lot of different things, and then the whole .com thing happened, and the lure of quick money happened, and I took off from the consulting firm and I went to work for a startup. We used classic ASP, VB6 to build COM components, and I was exposed to some of the finance side of building and running companies, and I was immediately promoted to a senior developer because I knew the material inside and out, and it was insane that here I was at 24, 25, and I was a senior developer. I'm like, all right, let's do it. That company went under, and I went and worked for a pharmaceutical company, and I saw some things there that were ethical challenges for me, and and this is something that I particularly wanted to come back to around Veronica's comments around. She found a project that she really likes. How do you keep that project and be able, or do something like that and go forward? And I was at an organization at that time where I built one or two things that I liked, but I had challenges in my head where it just ethically didn't feel right. I worked on some projects that helped collate data about adverse effects to medications. It eventually turned into a class action lawsuit against the company. I wasn't with the company at the time, but I helped write some of that software that collected and collated that data. And it felt terrible that this data that was being collected showed people having terrible side effects. I left that company and I went to work for a company that's still in existence called Frontline. And Frontline wrote a piece of software called ASOP. And this I felt really good about because ethically, and that was the thing when I left, I had that ethical mindset, that problem where it didn't feel right that I was writing a piece of software. It was a piece of software I think that I was kind of proud of, but it wasn't, it was working with data in a way that I didn't feel was helping humanity, if that sounds right, without trying to sound like I'm justifying things. But at Frontline, I worked on this product called ASOP, and particularly I was working on a piece of software that was going to put people in jobs. What ASOP does, the elevator pitch is it takes all of the substitute teacher opportunities, right? If teachers are going to be out sick at a school, and it makes those available like a job board for substitute teachers. Now, the substitute teachers need to be registered and available to sign up, pre-qualified, have credentials already configured for the school, but it matches those. It's almost like a dating service. So for teachers that are going to be out sick, let's find an appropriate substitute teacher to take their place. And if the substitute teacher doesn't take their place on the website, it'll automatically start making phone calls to those folks and offer the job automatically to them.
And then?
If it doesn't find it, it starts working down the list and finding somebody that does want to take the position.
And then?
Well, I worked on... I'm waiting for it to be read. Oh my gosh. Fairy Wings, you choked up Streamlabs. Thank you so much for that subscription. Yes, boop. We'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. So, thank you so much for that.
And then?
I worked on a version that targeted hospitals because hospitals have nurses that always need to be in place, and this felt great. This is a lot of simple CRUD, create, read, update, and delete functionality to manage the logic of connecting these two individuals. Very cool stuff.
And then?
I pushed it twice. We sold it to hospital systems in Australia.
And then?
They used it for a better part of 2-3 years, but the margins weren't great on the software. And this is particularly where I can relate to Veronica. I was infatuated with it because the architecture was so simple, so easy to use. And as a developer, I learned a lot about scaling that software because we had an application server and we had phone servers that managed phones, literally had modems connected to it and played audio files to people that called in. And we also had then the web servers that connected to those same application servers to serve the website. It was a very interesting and simple architecture. And I learned a lot working there. I'll never forget that, working for these folks. And I at the same time, I started to feel the call towards public speaking and teaching folks. And I went out and I got my first speaking opportunity at Vermont.net. Speaking at, I'm going to name drop here and I apologize, speaking to Julie Lerman's user group in Vermont. I took a day off of work and I went and I worked and I traveled to Vermont and I gave my talk and I came back the next day and my employer was very upset because I had somebody else pay for my travel to go and speak to this user group, and they thought that I was betraying them. They thought that I was working for someone else, and that didn't feel right to me. That felt like here I am, I've been recognized as a leader in our community, and I'm helping somebody else out, and you're not appreciative of that. The KISS principle almost always produces good architectures. Amen, Stelzy. And what Stelzy is referring to, KISS is an acronym for Keep It Simple, Stupid. Yes. And it does produce some great stuff. Perhaps Mr. Regs, perhaps shame on them. But that opportunity led me to work for Telerik as a developer advocate. I wasn't writing software anymore. This was the decision that I had to make. I stopped writing software as my primary job, 9 to 5 writing software. but I was teaching folks and I was setting direction for software, and I became a little bit more of a program manager. And then Microsoft called, and I really became a program manager, and I stopped writing software altogether as my day job, and I started writing samples and prototypes and pseudocode to help drive product direction. So there comes this challenge that you run into where you have to decide, am I going to continue writing software and become one of the best folks in the world at writing software? Or am I going to start leading and enabling other software developers? And I went in the direction of leading and enabling other software developers. But to circle back to the original point with Veronica, if you have that passion project, that project that you're so enamored with, and I'm not going to be able to recreate it, and I have to leave it because it's somebody else's property. That's where I think open source comes in. Open source is the community's property. Open source is something that can't be taken away from you. Open source is something that you can work on your own time, as a hobby project, with your friends, with folks all over the world, here on Twitch, or even in front of a conference in Las Vegas or wherever you might be. And that's what's really got me enamored with working on open source. I worked on that ASOP project for 6-7 years. Loved it. But they wanted to go in a different direction. And a team of lawyers and venture capitalists came in and bought the company. And they managed the company very, very well. They're very, very successful. They have a lot of patents on that software. They have lawyers that act aggressively towards organizations that might be using pieces of that software. This is well documented. This is news that you can find on their website that they're actually quite proud of. Once again, ethically, as somebody who contributes to open source, I have a little bit of a challenge with that. And that's fine. People do business in different ways. But that's why I think it's important for those of us that are in software to consider open source. Microsoft 15 years ago was not a friend of open source. Point blank. Wasn't a friend. Microsoft in 2017, 2018 absolutely is a friend to open source. And this is where I think my creative outlet can still live on. Where if there are things that do make sense that we've written that's open source that Microsoft can use, they'll invest in it, extend it, help it grow, take it to new places that it hasn't been, and make amazing things out of it. And you see that with GitHub. You see that with other platforms out there. So and I'm getting a little bit warm here. I'm going to take my sweatshirt off. Yes, Genesco. Developers. Very important to the growth of our society. Look at all the software that's being written and managed out there by all kinds of folks to do all kinds of things. The traffic lights as you walk down the street. There's software developers everywhere. Hey, Mike Jolly. Hello. So I've kind of ranted here a little bit and about where I am and how I've gotten here. And there's software literally everywhere. But I too am at a crossroads in my software career. I manage events. I plan content for all kinds of things. If you've been to Build or Ignite for Microsoft, you've seen my handprints all over those events. And of course, we catch up here 4 times a week live on the stream. And it's interesting. There's a lot here that we're writing and teaching and sharing together. And I've become quite enamored with it. I love what I do for my job. I love working with you. It's a lot of very interesting things. We've been quite successful with this, and I thank you for that. I'm not changing positions. I'm not leaving Microsoft. I'm not going somewhere else. It'd be amazing to be a full-time Twitch streamer. It really would. The mob coding here on Twitch is scratching my coding itch. Absolutely, Stelzy. it's something that I really enjoy. This lights me up in the morning. I look forward to this day in and day out. It is very interesting, and I don't plan on stopping. I did have somebody approach me and say, we'd like you to do these things that you're really good at, but Twitch isn't really a priority, and that didn't sit well with me. I find this extremely important. We're doing something new and exciting and interesting here. I want to continue doing this. I want to continue working with you and our technical communities. We're building some neat things here. Yeah, it's not going to set the world on fire, but we're learning things. And I think that learning is much more important than us getting committed or hooked on to a specific project and accomplishing and building one great thing. So Veronica and other folks out there that may be questioning and saying, well, I'm going to be leaving and working on another project, or I want to go find something else. It's a job. It's a job. Find that project that interests you. Make it your own. And own it. Take over it. And if it does become something cool, well, then you can start a company around it. And that's really interesting. I'm of the mindset that if you give a man a fish, you've fed him for a day. Fantastic. You teach a man to fish. Well, now you fed him for a lifetime. And that's what I like doing here. I like teaching you how to fish. And I think that's something extremely valuable. Yeah, I don't know how to write code as well as I probably would if I had spent a lot of time working on it. But developing our careers, we're going to get into that decision. And you're going to leave and change positions and go to different companies. It's just a job. Jobs don't define us. It's great to be able for me to be able to have a business card. Let me see here. Let's see if we can do this real quick. Right? It's great for me to be able to have a business card with a Microsoft logo on it. That's nice. That doesn't define me. You know what defines me? I have a business card with my face on it. Let's see. There we go. That defines me a little bit more. What I contribute, what I share. Yep, the Twitch streamer card. This one's mine. Right, there it is. It's not focusing. Focus. There it goes. It's a little bit bright. Right? That is what defines me. That's what I think the hats define me. Yes. So as a software developer, and I look forward and I think about my career, absolutely I want to work on projects that I'm happy about, that ethically I feel good about. And some of our friends in Mountain View that work for that large search engine, I'm not going to name names, they've had some challenges ethically with some of their practices, and they've said, we're not going to work on that project. And at some other companies, large software companies, they've said that as well. I'm not going to work on these things. So we want to talk about, we want to feel good about the projects we work on. And that's why I really like working on open source, because I can share it with you. We can contribute, work together, and build great things. So I've talked a lot about software careers, what it means to work on good projects. What do you think? How has your software development career grown there in the chat room? I want to answer some of your questions. I want to get some of your feedback. Trap off. We're gonna talk a little bit about software career here for a little bit, and then I want to work on think about our Visual Studio extension we've been working on, and get in and develop that. But for you working as a software development, we've all got war stories, right? We've all got stories of what's been successful, what's been crazy, what's been stupid, because sometimes people don't understand, right? We've all got stories of the the recruiter that comes across on LinkedIn, and this happens to me all the time, and says, hey, I see you work on ASP.NET. I've got a career as a junior developer waiting for you. And I have to write back to him and I said, yes, I've worked on ASP.NET. I've helped build the framework, not write applications in it. I've done both, but I'm actually building the framework. I work for Microsoft. I write the thing. And they write back, oh. And then I never hear from them again. Yes, we're going to write about code suggestions today. In the Stelzy says, in the discussion about automation in factories, I always say, I will have a good job in these doomsday moments because somebody needs to code the AI that is replacing all the traditional workers. Yes, and in fact, that as a consultant, I always have this mindset of, I'm working myself out of a job because I'm going to build this application that automates and makes your business so much better, and then you won't need me because the job will be done. Your business will be improved. Moved from development into architecture, tried management, but it didn't work for me. Love being able to code, even if it's not allowed into production anymore. Yes, Jester. And that's why I think open source is a great opportunity for that. Let's keep our tools sharp. Let's make sure that we as architects, program managers, directors of software development teams still have our minds into and around software development, what modern software development is, so that we can help make educated decisions. So that even if we aren't writing software, we can still relate to our engineers, our developers that are working on these things. Bardaki, I write software for automation in factories. Cool. Food production. Okay. Experience shows that you need some humans to overwatch and interact with the processes. Amen to that. Yes, I agree there. Though I have just been coding in the industry for 2 years, just at the beginning of it. Oh, good luck to you, Bardaki. Best of luck to you there. You've got a long, wonderful road ahead of you. And when you're at the beginning of your software development careers, there's that magic that you have around, look at what I wrote. This is really cool. It automates this thing. It does this task to make our lives better. That magic, don't ever lose that magic. Because it'll guide you for years and years to come. Janescu gets Power BI job offers on LinkedIn. I work in IT support, always have got software dev in there somewhere, done bits and bobs for clients. Some free, some paid. You know what, Rambling Geek? And I ran into that. I got my first taste of software development writing macros in Excel and Access. And that was a big thing that got me hooked in. Wow, is that Seb CG3? Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us today. You see yourself as a hobbyist programmer. That's okay too, right? There's all kinds of little things out there you can do. If you saw on Thursday last week, Suze and I, No Opcat, we worked on the Raspberry Pi, building some things there. I'm going to come back to that topic here in the next week or two. Write software to automate with. I don't do the automation itself. That's cool. Automation, okay? Most often I'm lucky that the systems we build are needed to extend the business and not reduce the workforce. Tagaron, that's a very good point. Writing software that's going to eliminate jobs, that's not good. That doesn't feel right at all. Development these days feels like a constant battle of juggling time to gain new experience of new tools. DJ Vortex, and that's why I made it a point to spend time either first thing in the morning when I got to work or in the evening after dinner. Read a couple blogs, watch some videos, learn the new things that are coming. Always be learning. It's not Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, always be closing. Always be learning in this industry. I think that's huge. Renegade, is that Renegade Devi? At my work, we supply touchscreens for kiosks as side work from our main business. And kiosks back in the day may only be a browser. Now it's a huge software business. Amen. There's another good one too. And that's great because you're helping give people information, right? Software-based kiosks, you're teaching folks, you're helping them find their way in the airport or at the shopping mall or help whatever might be. Very cool stuff. Currently switching companies. Do you mean the magic of a mechanical keyboard? No. I am aware of the advent of code. I'm not participating in it. There's folks doing a great job over there. Let them work on those things and promote that. Really great stuff they're doing, and I don't want to steal their thunder. Let them do their thing. I have my thing over here that we're having fun with. Discussions about replacing workers with Industrial Revolution was since the first one. Yeah. These doomsday things are always from people who can't imagine something new. You're right, Stelzy. And I think there's an opportunity that we see. There's folks in Kentucky where they were coal miners, ex-military support, and how do we retrain them so that they have new jobs in the new economy, right? Oh my gosh, the economy, there's terrible things. We can't do our job, making buggy whips anymore. Well, people invented cars. If you learn how to service cars, you're much more marketable. You're in at the beginning. You can be one of those people that gets highly paid because you're in demand. So I think teaching is actually very noble, whether it's teaching children growing up or teaching folks how to advance their careers through software. It's amazing stuff. Hey, Fretya, good to see you. Quan14, I'm a DevOps engineer, started programming as a data scientist. Got a glance of AWS and the cloud infrastructure, moved to automation and process to empower developers. Feels good, but I enjoy architecture and cloud. Hope to get there someday, some path to be made. So the interesting thing about getting into big architecture in the cloud is you're building and working on somebody else's big data, big software for a hobbyist to be able to scale up and have big architecture, big data in the cloud. That's a huge investment. You're going to want to latch on to somebody else's business to do that because they've got the resources. And it's a little bit hard to get in and do that without a little bit of financial backing. Veronica says, I started out as a junior IT tech, got moved to access reporting, taught myself SQL BI. Woo! Taught myself. There's the key words there. Always be learning, teaching yourself things. That's great. And updated to VB.net. Very cool. Bounced between dev and BI jobs, business intelligence jobs over the last 4 years or so. All right, there you go. Now you've got something. Okay. And I agree with Fairy Wings. School is really expensive. It is. School's expensive, access to some of these big data things, and that's why I think platforms like Twitch here are important for giving you access to education, access to experts, access to materials to advance yourself. So I think that's important. Junior dev for ERP and full solution firm. It's nice to have so many areas to learn from. Yes, it is. I have a very understanding family allowing me to spend a few hours each week to learn and practice. Amen, Jester. I used to work for somebody when I was at Telerik who literally blocked his schedule all day Friday for learning. You can get me 10 hours a day for the first 4 days of the week, but on Friday I'm learning. That's it. Just learning, working with our products, working with somebody else's products, and learning. And an amazing technologist. I'm not going to name drop him, but I respect him tremendously. So I went to school for mentoring. That's good. Hey, that's pretty cool. A lot of people are afraid of losing their jobs because the 20-year-old experience they feel is worthless. Your experience is not worthless. If you've got 20 years of experience, that's a tremendous insight and wisdom into what's succeeded, what's failed, and use that going forward. Skipped college or university because all the things I learned in school I already had learned a year ago when my friends were out of school. They had learned something new because it was outdated, and on IT, when there's new things all the time, your brain got to be on a rolling distro for knowledge. Amen. Oh my gosh, yes. So I want to make sure that we're on the same page here. Always be learning. Don't let your current employer define you. You define yourself. Take control of it. Open source is a tremendous way to stay engaged and involved with developing a project that will never be taken away from you. You can always fork the project, take it in a different direction if you don't like the direction the maintainers are going. Yeah, It might not get a million people downloading and using it. Yeah, you might not get paid $1 million for it, but it'll be something that's you can own, you can manage. And if you do have lots of people involved in using it, there's ways to build software support around that and consult and do things, or even be acquired and take a version of that to an organization. Microsoft has bought and hired a number of open source developers to continue working on their project full time with paid support. Really great stuff, and an opportunity there if open source speaks to you, sharing and having that altruistic approach to your software. Quan says, at my company, we have innovation days. I love this. I love where you're going with this. Let me finish reading your comment. We would spend the whole day at a project learning something else that could potentiate the business. Hoped we did that at least once a month. In Scrum, we actually had an innovation sprint back at Frontline, where you'd do your 2-week sprints, and after 6 or 8 sprints, you would do an innovation sprint. Do something to improve your process, something that wasn't on your current product, but improve the process or innovate on something and share that, show that off, and make something really cool that other folks might be inspired by. And if executives liked it, if the stakeholders in the organization thought it made sense, then they might approve it for further funding for an additional sprint. Or if you did something to improve your process and you could show and realize those gains, you could adapt it and include it in your next set of sprints. Great stuff. Yeah, Jester, it is a neat idea to do an innovation sprint. And it also helps to break up the monotony of always working on the same product. So, if you can learn and teach yourself, Mike Ware says, that skill will be invaluable. Then that 20 years of experience can be applied because you have the history and knowledge to apply it wherever you learn now that is different. Yes, I agree. And that's one thing if you want to get into developer advocacy, right? Where I spent a bit of time with Telerik, and I do a little bit of technically for Microsoft now. The key is to be able to learn technology quickly, right? I can learn things quickly. I've got a little bit of a photographic memory, and I can remember things. But to be able to learn things quickly and teach others and provide feedback on what does work for you, what doesn't work, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, that's where developer advocacy really succeeds for folks. So because I don't have a lot of time for learning, I'm not a decent dev. Not at all. No. If you want to continue to advance and change and move into new areas, always be learning. You are always going to be learning, even if you don't have time to go and spend reading blogs or documentation, because you're going to try and do new things always with your projects. So you're going to be learning. You're going to be learning in a different way. You're going to be learning in a more practical way. So you are still always learning. I learned to program at 34 years old, says Superbrain. 3 years ago. I've been watching this channel too. Then I got a job for 6 months. And now I just got offered a full-time position at the company. Oh my gosh, Suber. Hello. We got to celebrate that. Congratulations. You built them ASP.NET Core apps running on Linux. Hello. All right. The community has been helpful for me to learn both C# and Linux and SQL. It's been crazy, and I feel very lucky because I was unemployed for a long time. Wow, Suber. You know what? Can somebody do me a favor and clip that, please? Can somebody clip me reading Suber's comment? That is, you know what, Suber? I'm going to call it a testimonial like that. Really speaks towards how you can grow your career. You get in, you do a little bit there. That's phenomenal. Yes, Vava, thank you for the hype. There are devs who don't want to learn a single new thing in 5 years. I wouldn't say they're not a decent developer. I'd say they're a stubborn developer. Learn how to learn. Yes. Thank you, Zerk. I appreciate that. I'm going to copy that link. And I'm going to paste it into Notepad. If you don't mind, Suber, I'm guessing you don't mind because you shared it with us here. I'm going to share that on Twitter. Because that really makes my day. You have no idea how much I really enjoy hearing testimonials like that. Testimonial is probably the wrong word, but hearing from folks who have gone and advanced their career just by spending some time learning. Really great to hear from. Do you have a Twitter account there I can quote there, Suber? Right, there we go. .NET Core apps running on Linux. Hello. Hello. All right. The community has been helpful for me to learn both C# and Linux. You know what, can we take the clip back just a little bit more to when I first started quoting Suber? But thank you, Zerk, for the subscription. I appreciate you bringing your Twitch Prime. Of course, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you could turn that into a Twitch Prime account, and it'll eliminate... no, it doesn't eliminate ads, but you do get one channel subscription. You bring it anywhere you'd like, and here on Twitch. And if you bring it to my channel, we'll eliminate the ads on whatever channel it is that you're watching. But you bring it to mine, and I'll match the. I'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. I'm not matching until we get into the new year again, but we'll make that donation, and you get to use the .NET bot everywhere. Thanks so much. I'm the only one who still doesn't understand how to build regex. No. Regex is kind of confusing. A lot of folks do struggle with it, and I think there's some great opportunities through some different tools that are available out there to help you figure out how to build those better. And it is different, yes. It took 5 years to learn Docker because I looked at it as another Jails or Solaris zones. But now with Kubernetes, I took my time learning Docker. Yes. Yes. All right, I'm going to come back to this clip. Maybe we'll get a better clip later. Regexer, that's one of the ones that I use. That is really good. I'm going to just put this back over here. I'm going to come back to that tweet a little bit. I wanted to see if we could get the whole clip there. Back from when I started, but Regexer is really good. Mr. Regs. Now, okay. With a name like Mr. Regs, I'm guessing you're pretty good at regular expressions. But Regexer is a really good tool. Let me open that one. I'm going to copy it. Yeah, this is really good, right? Because it explains exactly what the regular expression is doing. There's cheat sheets, patterns you can save here. You can get some community patterns to be able to isolate and do some things, typical things. Really great stuff. Maybe.
Right.
I think so. All right. So, I think that's all I want to spend today talking about software development careers. Veronica, does that help forward and forward the discussion a little bit there with you? Is there something you'd like to come back and make sure we discuss as a group before we go too much further? Being even aware of new things and what they roughly want to solve is learning new things in my mind. Yes, Stelzy, we learned about Regexer here, right? Someone else referenced it and sent it over. This is great. You know, someone just learned about this today, and now they've got a resource that they can use to help them going forward. Feist asks, is CCNA one of the best certifications, or are there better, or does it only depend on what you want to do as a career? I'm going to answer that as it depends on what you want to do as a career. If you want to get into game development, I don't think somebody at EA or Blizzard or Nintendo is going to care that you have a CCNA. If you want to get into cloud architecture and big data, an Azure certification might be great. Or an is there an AWS certification? Certifications in those technologies might be better suited for you. Depends on what it is that you want to do. And there's so much you can do with software development. If you want to build IoT things CCNA might not be the right thing for you. So it's up to you where you want to go. Find a certification that matches that area, that community of technologists. And I think that'll help you choose what you want to do.
And then?
Embrace it. Go after it.
And then?
Look up some open source projects that are out there. See what other folks are doing to advance the community.
And then?
Maybe you contribute.
And then?
Read some of the source code. There might be something there that you like.
And then?
Maybe open some issues.
And then?
Embrace it. Go after a career with that. So, there are AWS certs. Cool. When do you plan to make the HTML training you talked about before? I am making phone calls, Discord outreach today and tomorrow to line that up. I've been dotting the I's, crossing the T's yesterday, closing up expense reports. Oh God, expense reports.
Wow.
It's amazing the amount of paperwork that you have to go through at a large company. So we got all that done and pushed out. So I feel good about that. Now I can refocus on content here. Hey there, Chillax Thor. Good to see you. Not only searching for stuff to learn, but searching in general. Oh my gosh, Kevin's raiding. 3 raiders coming over from Kevin Griffith. Thanks so much. I appreciate the raid. I have a feeling that if you were watching Kevin, a couple of you know who I am. My name is Jeff Fritz. I'm a program manager at Microsoft and a streamer here 4 times a week, writing code. And today we're talking a little bit about careers in software development. And then we're going to get back into working on our Visual Studio extension here. Let's see here. There's PlayFab. Yep. Do I think an associate's degree with a ton of projects versus an open source contribution with a BA degree with nothing? Zerk, I learned a lot from my father. My father was involved with software from the 70s. Wrote some of the course scheduling software at the local community college, and he had an associate's degree in data structures and an associate's degree in math from St. Joseph's University. He had 2 associate's degree, didn't have a bachelor's in computer science. There was no such thing as computer science. But he went on and had a 40-year career in IT operations and management. You've got a better clip for me. Oh, fantastic. I don't look at careers at college education as something that defines a technologist. The work that you've done, the experience that you have, the open source projects you've contributed to, that defines a lot of the of a practical developer and what they're able to do. If I was hiring somebody in to be a very theoretical computer scientist, somebody who's going to write features into the C# programming language, and that low-level technology, yeah, I'm going to want somebody who's got a thorough background in algorithms and how to write those things. So it depends on what you're doing. You know, if I'm hiring somebody to work on a web application for my insurance company, I'm going to look at what you've done recently. I'm not going to look so much at your college career. If you have a college education and you're coming right out of college, okay, not bad. We'll consider that. But I want to make sure, where is it? I want to make sure I answered Veronica's comment up here. I think Veronica says, I think for me, I need to try and get a role back in education, much more fulfilling. And education isn't just schools or college, but also consider folks that are educating and training how to use their software, right? I worked for a software vendor like Telerik. Our friend Code Rushed, that's Mark Miller, he works for DevExpress. Those folks need skilled software developers to help show other developers, educate them how to use their tools and products. JetBrains has folks that do this. There's all kinds of folks at Oracle and Amazon and Facebook that do teach how to use their products and tools. So don't think about just going back into traditional college and schools. But there are other places out there that can teach and do these types of things. Kravitz. Hey, Kravitz. I hope you don't mind people asking different questions. Not at all. This is an AMA. Renegade Devi. Is that how you pronounce that? Let me know. Thanks so much for the follow. And is that Akbarak Amat? Wow. 123. Thank you so much for the follow. And Kravitz, thanks so much for the sub. Thank you for bringing a tier 1 sub. We'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. And you'll get to use the .NET bot anywhere you'd like here on Twitch. Thanks so much. Let me read your question here, Kravitz. And it's never a problem to ask questions. I always host my stream like an AMA. So let me read your comment here. You just got into web development after spending 12 years on .NET and WinForms. Okay. I was wondering if you can recommend a framework such as Kendo UI to take up some of the JavaScript load off yourself, but also recommend a best way to get into learning JavaScript. Wow. So you're looking for a framework to offload some of the JavaScript user interface stuff. That's why folks get into things like React and Angular. Kendo UI. Infragistics has a framework called Ignite. These frameworks give you those widgets, give you those web capabilities that you had in the toolbox with Windows Forms. They're great. They do amazing things for you, and they'll hook up to a lot of the JavaScript frameworks out there. jQuery, Mr. Regs. jQuery is great. It solved a problem at the time. It has a widget ecosystem as well. I don't know if I can recommend one over the other. There's lots of different tools and frameworks for JavaScript out there, and JavaScript is one of the fastest moving technical communities. Keep an eye on them. Always be reading about them, because they'll move before and cut support for something that you might be using before you can react to it. All right, let me take a look at this clip. Let's go over here. What do we got?
The program at 34 years old, says Superbrain. 3 years ago.
Ah, fantastic.
Then I got a job for 6 months, and now I just got offered a full-time position at the company. Oh my gosh, Super. Hello.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. That's where I want it to be. All right, let's... is it Superbrain? Was that it? Superbrain. Who just got promoted? Just got asked to join his employer full time. To hear from our pair programmer friend. Congrats. Clip. There we go. All right. Love seeing that. I'm going to leave that open so I can remember it for later. Okay. There we go. Watch the VOD later. That's not a problem, Bardaki. Great to see you. Got to go cookie baking. I've got to do that too. Cookie policy is easy in the family. When you bake them, you can eat them. You know, there is no GDPR with Christmas cookies. Huh? See what I did there? TypeScript is nice transition from C#. Yes. So JavaScript, there's a lot to learn about. TypeScript is nice to get you transitioned from one to the other. Cookie Monster wants your cookies. Nice. Janesco, you won a gift card from Code Party. Nice. Nice. Any tips on what I should learn for your first programming language? Asks Akbarakma123. Depends on what you want to do. When I was a teen, I wrote and published a game and used that as a resume. Got into pro game development on Xbox, PSX, Sega Saturn, Win32. Yes. Yes. Perry Digital Ox. Amen. That really speaks towards show me what you know versus tell me what you know. You've shown them what you know. Swift for iPhone. Yeah, that's absolutely. Have I worked with developers in test? What do you think of SDET as a career path? SDET, right? Software development, end-to-end testing. Is that what you're referring to? Yes, they are. The software folks that work in testing are tremendous folks because they help find those edges, those sides, those corners to your software that need polishing, right? Doesn't look great over here, and we need to clean that up. They're tremendous partners in the development process, and we need to encourage them. We need to engage them more and ensure that that they're satisfied, that they have a good career opportunity. I've worked with some tremendous software development engineer and test. There you go. I've worked with some tremendous folks that have done testing or quality assurance, and I consider those those are your best friends during the process because they can either make your life really easy or a living hell. So absolutely, let's make sure that our colleagues in there, they have great opportunities. I think it's a tremendous place to be as a developer. Try contributing to OSS. If you have a presence online, a portfolio of work, then you may find a place that will want to look at those merits versus how to scribble on a whiteboard. Yes. Is there a good place to learn C# besides this stream? Thanks, Feist. There's a MVA has a great resource. The docs on Microsoft.com there's a get started for .NET over here.
Happy to be here.
Hey, Alfonso Vegas. Thanks so much for bringing your Twitch Prime 2 months in a row. That's terrific. We really appreciate that, and we'll make a donation to Girl Development. Microsoft Virtual Academy, you can get a free 3-month Pluralsight. Yep. Dev Chatter has done some Learn to Code streams. We're going to be doing some here. Check out these tutorials on getting started. So there's getting started here. There's also a tutorial, C# tutorials here that'll walk you through the basics, very hands-on. Let me post this link into the chat room for you. And that'll get you, from the folks that build C#, some basics of getting started with the language. Hey, Rambling Geek, thanks so much for that kind cheer. I do have some code open, but I'm going to table, if you don't mind. I'm going to table that cheer for my next code graffiti here. All right. Thanks so much. Sign up for Microsoft Dev Essentials. Yes, where is that? Tons of free stuff that you can get access to. Yes. People who set up and do testing with CI/CD are my heroes. CI/CD, of course, being continuous integration and continuous deployment, right? So these are systems that will check out the source code from source control. So they get a copy of it, build, run automated tests against it, and if they work properly in a continuous deployment scenario, they'll actually deploy a finished version, a complete version of the software. Really, really cool. Let's see. There you go. There's the Dev Essentials link. Thank you, Veronica. I'm going to click that and open that up to just show what we got there. Visual Studio Dev Essentials. There you go. Free tools, cloud services, and training. Let's go over to the full-size code there. There you go. Look at that. Join or access now. You get access to developer tools. Of course, Visual Studio 2017 is completely free if you're a hobbyist. If you're working for a startup, you get Visual Studio Community completely free. Free tools, cloud services, and training. There you go. LinkedIn Learning, Pluralsight, Wintellect Now for app development, Microsoft Virtual Academy. You get Azure credits. Really great stuff that you get access to. Yeah, make sure we highlight those folks. I've got a number of videos over there that you can watch. And actually, there's still a code that we have available for you. You can get 2 weeks of free Wintellect Now development. Absolutely free. If you use the code, I believe it's Happy Halloween. We got that on the Halloween stream. If you use that code, you'll get 2 weeks streaming completely free. And that code is valid until the end of the year. All right. Playfab.com is another great resource. GitHub Hub as a student bundle. Hey, Whole John, great to see you. Kevin has a course on Wintellect now. I have about a dozen courses over there as well. I'm about to release a GitHub course over there. Really, really great stuff. So, Virtual Academy, you can sign up for free. Not Virtual Academy, Dev Essentials for free. And it'll get you up and running with a bunch of different tools, features to help you learn and grow your career. Learn is cool as well. Yeah. Yeah. So if you go Learn, Microsoft, and Learn is more of a, it's a gamified learning platform you can go to. And we're building more courses, more tutorials over there that you can get access to and build and learn from. Where is it? Come on. There we go. Take learning and development courses. Now, this is mostly focused on Azure right now. But there's more content coming over here. But you can go through and you can even earn swag. They'll send you great stuff over here if you go to learn.microsoft.com. If there are any students on the stream, of the GitHub bundle. Yep. So, and if you are a student on the stream, let us know what school you're going to. If you're going to a university, we want to support those universities. We want to let them know that we appreciate the work that they're doing to grow our software development community and enable them to do more cool things. First year of computer science and have to hand in your first Java assignment in 3 days, says Vigo Fett. Good luck. Good luck. Not local in the slightest, Whole John. No, Whole John's a little bit further away here. Are there some good resources to get started in open source contributions? Asks John3875. You know what? Scott Hanselman has a great thing about get started with open source. What is that called? Not first timers. Get involved in open source. He has a video. Get started in open source with Scott Hanselman. This is from 2012, but he did a video with Pluralsight, and they made it completely free. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. No. I think this might be... Where'd it go? First timers only is good. But check out this video from Scott Hanselman. It's only 23 minutes long. It's from Build, and it talks about how to get involved, how to get started. Let me paste this YouTube. I think the Channel 9 is actually this one. Just finished your first year, says Feist. Congratulations. All right. Python. Okay. I need to learn Python. We might spend some time learning Python here. WQ Walter, what about CodeStock, Kansas City Developer Conference, Scenic Developer Conference, and other free or low-cost developer conferences and dev days for training and other developers? Yes, those are great for learning. I don't think they're good for folks who are brand new to software development. I think they're more for continuing education for existing developers. And that's great. But for somebody who's just getting started, I think a lot of those events don't have a good beginner's track. This is a criticism we have at Build and at Ignite. There isn't a beginner's track for folks. Is that Sino Zhu? Thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Revolution Conf. There's a great conference that folks can attend, and it's great for continuing education. Learn the new things that are happening, so that you don't have to spend nights and weekends reading blogs and these things. Let these other folks who are spending that time teach you at a conference like Revolution Conf in Virginia Beach in the Mid-Atlantic. That's coming up in May. You're looking at adding workshops specifically geared around learning a new language. That's where you'll see that experience for new developers, is in the workshops at these events. Dev Intersection is an event that I participate in Las Vegas and Florida each year, those two locations. And I run a workshop at that event both times about learning ASP.NET Core. It's very similar to the workshop that we do here on stream, but it's in person. So it's a lot easier for folks to ask me questions, interact with other developers. And if that's an environment that works better for you, great. It's there. You can participate. But it's an opportunity to get that foot in the door learning experience. So, and the other thing Dev Intersection does is if you buy a workshop, they'll give you an Xbox or a Surface or whatever the promotional hardware is. You get a free piece of hardware for attending and going to one of their workshops. Back when I was in school, it was all about Java and C++. Java and C++ are very good languages to learn. Very good languages to learn because they'll help you on mobile development. They'll help you in low-level development. They're very good resources. .NET will get you extremely productive. And you don't need to worry about things like memory management, garbage collection. A lot of the heavy lifting's been done by somebody else. Vigo says, I'm using Eclipse to code, ain't learned no Python. Try Visual Studio Code. It'll help you with that. Visual Studio Code will help with all of those languages. Really, really great text editor that's being developed and building out extensions for all kinds of great things. DNet78 is at the University of, I'm going to mispronounce this, Herefordshire in the UK, doing a postgrad in computer science. That's really cool. Best of luck to you, DNet. Go get that degree. Good for you. Compared to C#, Java looks very verbose and old-fashioned. The folks at Oracle haven't... while they've been releasing new versions of Java, they haven't been innovating as fast as the folks are innovating on the C# language. That could be a positive or a negative depending on your point of view. Some folks do like stability and don't want their language to change. Other folks want to see new features in their language. They feel that that means that it's still alive and growing and it's becoming a burgeoning community. That's great. To each their own. And in Visual Studio and with .NET, you can actually pin the version of C# that you're using and say, I'm only using C# 6 or I'm only using C# 7. Don't give me this C# 8 feature set. That's okay. If that works for you, go ahead and do it. Nobody's going to criticize you for doing it if that is what works for you. I have to build a ticket system for a tram line and it's all going great, just can't figure out how to add additional tickets. Interesting. Okay. Kravitz asks, is there any resource that you would recommend to get into web development, JavaScript, TypeScript, jQuery, or other frameworks? There's a lot of Google, of course, but quantity does not equal quality. Take a look at these Visual Studio Dev Essentials, and you get a lot of free training here. Video training, just like you have here, with samples and projects and quizzes to ensure that you've learned the tools, all available free if you sign up for Dev Essentials out here. Udacity has some free training. Yep. Swift, I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with the Swift community to recommend where you can get some learning on it. I know some of these places do have learning on Swift. Pluralsight and Wintellect now, I believe, both have Swift training for you. So you can check those out. I do C# has suffered a bit much of the Java verbosity. Yeah. Compared to some language that's now building on LLVM where syntax can be simpler. To each their own. So some people like that, some people don't. Thank you for the follow, Vigo. I appreciate you joining us. Look at that. $44.95. That's going to tick over to $44.96 there once it tallies in Vigo's follow. I very much appreciate the follows and everybody joining us here today. It's important, it's valuable to me, and it makes me feel good to see all of you joining us. Thank you so much. So, all right. What do you say we revisit our Visual Studio extension that we're working on? And I want to rethink this, and I want to back up a little bit and approach it. I want to approach this with a clear mind, because I think we tried jumping in and mimicking something, and it didn't work out the way we thought it could have. So what we've done over here, we're working in our Stream Tools project. This is a project that includes tools to help manage my stream, including things like these counters that you see here below me, and that thermometer thing over here for the rainbow beard. When we get to 5,000 followers, I'm going to dye this beard rainbow, and it's going to be terrific. It's going to be glorious. So we're closing in. Tell your friends, tell your families, go sign up for Twitch, click through, drop a follow. It's completely free to sign up for Twitch, to create a Twitch account. If you've got an Amazon account, you've already got a Twitch account. You just have to link it, activate it on Twitch, and click follow, and we'll push this up. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets. No, that's probably not right. Don't.
And you blow it!
Yeah, don't do that. No, that would be faking numbers here, and somebody at Twitch would be unhappy at me. Okay. Anyways, so we're working on this project and build some of these things. There you go. Click follow like Mike Ware XGR just did. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the follow, and I look forward to talking to you more in the chat room. I think I saw you a little bit ago. Oh, and to finish my thought about Walter's point about KCDC, Code Stock, Scenic Developer Conference, and some of these other conferences, and Revolution Conf, they are tremendous events. You're going to get access to some of the folks that build and create some of the tools that you use, and some of the MVPs and community contributors out there that really know this stuff and are well known for writing books and articles, producing videos, producing Twitch streams. I don't know anybody who does that. And meet them, interact with them, and get to say hi. It's always nice to say hi to folks like that at conferences like that. And honestly, some of those folks at those events, they ask me to come out and speak at their event. I try and fit it into my schedule. We'll see what we're able to work out for 2019. Tuning in for the first time early at work today, trying to listen in to bug a project and do a code review. Wow. That's a full morning, Mike. Whew. Best of luck to you. So this project, like I said, it provides a bunch of these little widgets, including our GitHub scoreboard, the ticker you see up at the top that celebrates some of the folks that have contributed to our projects. There's an issue that was opened out here I want to make sure I address before I get back into the what's the thing we're working on? Oh yeah, the Visual Studio extension. Parathon identified that Dependabot is becoming listed as a top contributor up there. Yeah, look at it. Top for the month, Dependabot with 4 contributions. That doesn't feel good. We should be able to filter out the Dependabot as a contributor for that ticker. So Parathon gave us a pull request so that we can exclude some contributors. Let's take a look at the source code here. So I'll click through to this. Here it is. So here's the code that Parathon wrote. We have a collection of excluded users in our configuration. And if the author does not include that, then we're going to include that in our collection. Right? That makes sense. Repository owner, exclude users, C# Fritz, and Dependabot. For me, that makes sense. Okay. This looks like I want to jump over to the pull request. Not this. Not that. Added a commit, added a commit. Where's the pull request? Yeah, that's this. I thought I could click through to the pull request. It's not. That feels silly. Pull requests is open. Look at this, and it even opened more pull requests. Dependabot did. There we go. So 3 files changed, and it's going to be my configuration, so I can include that list of users to exclude. And then put that in a collection here in our settings. That makes a lot of sense. I like this. because it'll help clear that up, and it's merged into our dev branch. So I am going to merge that. Good catch. Thank you for the contribution. I think Parathon just didn't want to be bumped off the ticker. Wasn't listed in the issue. Yeah, it was strange, isn't it? So, when I see coding, it seems people have 3+ monitors. Is that really needed, or is 2 enough? 2 is enough. 2 is absolutely enough. I think 3 is where things start to get a little crazy. I used to use 4 because I would have all my communication software open, or I would have my project management software open on that 4th screen, along with my email, so I could bounce back and forth code, the actual running application in a browser, and then emails, and then the project management, so I could go back and forth between them. Only use one monitor helps me stay focused on the task at hand. If that works for you, Mazza, terrific. 4 monitors gave me a bad neck.
Right.
Come on now, it's like watching a tennis match. Look, I'm writing software. 3, but 1 is turned portrait mode, so I can easily have the browser and the browser dev tools open. Yeah, I have 3 here now. So I have what you see in front of me. This is my stage screen. I have another one that you see me reading on over here. Kind of looks like I'm reading the docked chat over there. But I have a 27-inch. No, this is a 24-inch that's turned portrait that I have chat on, as well as the Twitch console. And then my other 24 over here on this side has OBS, so all the stuff I'm producing, and then the console from this project, from Stream Tools. So this is merged. I will redeploy this between sessions here. I don't want to redeploy in the middle here. I don't want to distract us too much. Okay, good. And then we're going to merge this one from Ed Thompson to build our Azure pipelines. I'll do that in between and make sure that everybody has a link to see our Azure pipelines that we worked on with Ed from Connect last week. That's when we did that. I have 3, but 1 is turned portrait mode, so I can easily have the browser and the browser dev tools open. Yes, yes. 2 ultra-wide screens on top of each other. Ooh, ancient coder.
Wow.
That's really cool. 2 ultra-wides and a portrait 28-inch. Nice. You haven't lived until you have Visual Studio open with 3 columns of code. I've never done that, Mr. Riggs. Is it amazing? Is it really, really cool? I have seen portrait mode as a suggestion for coding more space to see more lines of code. It is. Feist, it is. It's really good. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Mr. Regs says so. I trust Mr. Regs. All right. I want to go back to the issues here, and I want to talk about the live code suggestions. So what we've been doing, what we've been working on, is this ability for folks in chat to be able to send code directly to me while we're building and working on software together. And there's a series of examples out here for how to build and interact with Visual Studio. Visual Studio is not easy to build an extension for. It's very complex. And we had this idea for editor adornments so that we could do things like, it's not here. I thought there was we had a blog post or something that showed how to create like a light bulb. And it had a great picture of what that looked like. Yeah, I don't see it here. We started working with this error list sample. There we go. So that we could build a light bulb and put some entries in the error list. And this felt like the right way to go with this. So that you could, so that you, a viewer, could submit code through the chat window and get it into my error list and then pop a light bulb in the code right next to what it is, next to the code that I'm working on. And it feels like that's a good comparison to what I'm working on, what I want to achieve. but the sample here is a little bit more complex than we expected. Yes! Wow, Jasseri and? Co-coding, pair programming is what I like to refer to it as. But I don't want the full experience of LiveShare, where everybody's just writing code everywhere, and then you're herding cats. I need a cat's meow sound. I don't have one. Then you're herding cats. No, that won't work. That's terrible. No. Yeah, no, that's bad. That's what it sounds like when they're writing code. More of a comments suggested for this line number. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think it would be pretty sick, Mike. I do. So we started. I already have the ability to receive and put those comments from chat, those code suggestions from chat, into a web page. But I want to put it into Visual Studio and eventually also into Visual Studio Code. But the editor, the features for Visual Studio, the interaction is really hard to build. So I want to back up and I want to create an extension with an editor, not an editor item template. Right? But I want to be able to create something that interacts with the error list, extending other parts. Creating an extension, creating a toolbox control, Windows Forms toolbox control, extending the status bar. No. DPI, shell, inside the SDK. I want to create my own. I want to create my own thing that puts entries in the error list, right? Oh, good luck to you, Feist. Yeah, taking computer language classes are very cool. It's good to get that first one under your belt with some sort of an instructor. And a college professor, those folks, they know that stuff inside and out. Let me go back to the samples here and see if there's something. So error list felt like the right one to do, but it's too complex. What's to-do classification? Highlights any instance of the text to do in the editor and display a glyph in the corresponding line. So this is just looking at the text editor and putting a thing on the end. Hey, Wanted. Good to see you. That feels too simple as well. Typing speed meter. Neat? No. Highlight word. What's this do? Highlights any words that match the word currently under the text caret. That's still working. No. Async completion, async package. No. I don't. Backwards compatible, caret fish eye. What is this? How to implement the line transformation API. Ew. No. CodeLens out of proc sample. CodeLens indicator showing most recent Git commits. I'm doing great, Wanted. We did a recap on Connect, the Connect event that I hosted. We discussed that on Sunday's stream, and today we talked a little bit about software development careers, and I want to rethink how we're approaching the extension here for Visual Studio, because jumping in with this error list sample and trying to rebuild this just got really, really complex. It's not the tool. Is it the toolbox? It's not a. No, it's not a control. No. Intra-text adornment. Provide colored adornments to hexadecimal colors. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Wanted. Chat could put in code like, yes, that's it. Yes, yes. And that'd be put in the panel in my IDE with a ref to the line number. You got it. You got it. That's exactly what we want to do. And I don't see something here that's simpler that'll get me right into adding something to... What's this? This is just a link back to this thing, isn't it? Ah, there we go. What are extensions? Marketplace. Create your own extension. All right. Go to the docs page. Starting to develop extensions. Yeah. Hello world. Yeah. So that's a custom command, source code. I know what a command is. So okay, that's just wired up to a menu and said, okay, go ahead and do this. But I want to update the error list. You know? Creating an extension with a tool window. Recently switched from Notepad++ to Visual Studio Code. Fantastic. Maybe it makes a glyph at your line, and then when you click the glyph, it brings up all the comments for that line. Great ideas. I want to start with just loading things into that error list so I've got the catalog of here's what's been suggested. And then when I click one of those, go to that line and show the glyph. So I think that's like step 2 and step 3. Okay, this is create an extension with a tool window. And the custom tool window item template. Veronica, I think you're onto something. Okay, so this would be if I wanted my own tool window. So create a V6 project named first window. You can find the V6 template, blah, blah, blah. When the project opens, add a new tool window item template named my window. You know what? You might be onto something. What if we just put that in as our own one there? So what do we have in this gist, Vortex? Adding an item to the error list. Okay.
Oh my.
This looks promising. Referring to your code for adding errors to the error list window. Thank you and appreciate. Everything was fine, but how can I add error ID, which appears under code? All right, let's... This looks good. This looks good. Oh, Veronica. Points to Veronica. Okay, okay. So, V6 package get global services. There's a reference to the DTE, developer something environment. Tabbed environment? I forget what DTE stands for. But it's basically the Visual Studio window, if I remember correctly. Error list provider. Okay, so new error list provider. Where's error list provider? I don't know where error list provider is coming from. Error text, this is an error. Get the first project details. Okay, project unique name. Project.file name, first file and project. Yeah. Get first project IVS hierarchy item. So hierarchy items are the, when you look at Solution Explorer, those things. New error task, error category, category text, document line, column, hierarchy item. Okay. New error.navigate. Ooh. That makes sense. Error list provider.tasks.clear, error list provider.tasks.add, the new item, and then show it. But how does this get kicked off? Right, where... Not a fan of the point sound. Sorry, nozzle gear. Sorry about that. Sorry. Yeah, where, when is that called? That's not clear. So here's what I want to do. Everything's in source control. So let's try rolling this back, right? Let's remove this. What we were working on. It's not gone, and I'm going to migrate the cheers into other places. Yes, the Wilhelm scream. Absolutely. All right, so let's add a new project. Right, so V6 extension, right? V6 project template, right? Okay, V6 project. And we're going to put this into cdev Fritz Stream Tools. I'm adding this project. I'm not sure why it's not nesting it appropriately with the rest of my solution. But let's call this Fritz.LiveCoding2. See what we can do here. Oh yeah, gotta have Wilhelm because, as you know, we
Do it live.
every day here. Everything is
Do it live.
live. Yes, absolutely. Because of course you want to see me.
And you blow it.
Yeah, when I blow it, and that happens a lot. Add new features. Right-click the project node in Solution Explorer and add new item. In the Add New Item dialog box, expand the Extensibility node. Choose from available item templates, package, editor items, and then click Add. All right, so let's do this. Add new item. Oh, thank you for the follow. And is it Jas Ariand? How do you pronounce that? Writing to the VS error list. Ooh, Vortex. Oh, okay. We'll go with that. Blah, 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 blah. Error list helper. Get error list provider. We have to make a helper class to add and remove items from the list. Fine. What it must cover. Get the Visual Studio service to open the document. Open the document via the open document via project. Yeah, but how do I kick this off? Right, where does this start? The error list item is a class called error task where you can set all needed properties. So it's now quite simple and natural way of showing items in the error list. Simplest approach is to create a helper class. Now we enable the construction of the error list provider with this helper class. Yeah, but how does this get called? You know? Is there a comment here about, well, how do you get this start? Try to make the singleton to keep the instance alive. Yes, we do want it as a singleton. But it's not clear to me. That's wrong window. Here. Karnak, you're going a little crazy there. All right, extensibility. It's not a code fix. It's not an analyzer. It's not a refactoring. Part of me feels like it's down the path of a custom tool window. Is it an extension pack? Maybe? What do you think? I don't know. See, template creates an extension pack. Well, great. That doesn't tell me what an extension pack is. Isn't the magic in public error get error list provider? Here, what calls this? Does it just automatically get registered? You know? I mean, if I just create this error list provider, right? If I just do that, well, there's also get service down here. That should be a var. And we need an error list provider. Where is it? Right. Error list provider isn't a thing. Where do we get error list provider? Return error list provider. Error list provider is a new error list provider. So I feel like Yeah, we're missing a reference here. Visual, you know what, let's just search for error list provider. Visual Studio Shell 15 and Visual Studio Shell 14. See, now why isn't that reference already added for me? Microsoft Visual Studio Shell 15. Okay. And now if I control dot on this, get my using statement. Okay, that goes away. It's a start. Still, get service is not returning anything. Vortex. Yeah. Yuck. Okay, so we have that. Provider name equals name scoping package. What the heck is that? Right, I'm in looking at this blog post. Le Chiffre, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. That, I'm guessing you like... oh, from Germany. Ah, guten Nachmittag. Wie geht's? Thanks so much for joining us. I see what they're trying to do here, but I feel like I'm... we're doing well today. I feel like, once again, I'm thrust into the middle of a sample that has no context. Right? So I feel like this needs to be in here as well. But GUID name scoping package. Right, I think it is important to give the provider a name and a new GUID. Okay, so we need to give this a name. All right, so if we call this code suggestions and we give it a GUID, right? So let's just use the GUID generator here. This comes with Visual Studio. You don't need to go install anything here. Create GUID and give me a good one. All right. And I just want... Oh, you know what? I can just do that. Right. Now, shouldn't it have just... Yeah, I thought there was a way to get that as just a literal. And it's not the... Well, that's not going to work. No. That's what I want. Yuck. Let's just do GUID.parse that. I thought there was a way to make that. All right, catch you later, Vortex. Thanks so much. Whisper a Lullaby. Thanks so much for the host. I appreciate that. I wonder why that didn't pop up or anything here. No worries. All right, so there's that error list helper. Okay. From here. Now that we have the error list provider in place, we have to make the helper class to add and remove items from the list. This includes creating an error task object and handle the event and navigate to the context documents position. Let's learn how to create an error task object. Right, error task is a thing. So here's what I'm going to do. All right. PC Bootsy, thanks so much for the follow. And you, PC Bootsy, our follower number 4,500. Congratulations, and thank you for helping us get to that milestone. Beat22 Tran, you are 4501. Thanks so much for joining us. It does the part about automatically on startup help. Ooh, thank you, Stelzy. Yeah. Welcome, PC Bootsy. Thanks for joining us. Converting add-ins to VS Package extensions. I feel like I could just read documentation here for an hour, and people would, it would be like nighttime reading, like lullabies for developers. This article applies to Visual Studio 2015. If you're looking for assistance with the Visual Studio 2017 documentation, use the version selector at the top left. We recommend upgrading to Visual Studio 2017. And if you're really nuts, you can try upgrading to Visual Studio 2019 Preview 1 right now. Take advantage of it being completely free and easy to use, and get into it and do what makes you happy there with it. Thanks so much. ASMR code reading, absolutely. Take care, Rambling Geek. Great to see you. Oh my gosh, here comes the followers. Hot Play, thank you for the follow. Crazy296, there we go. Thank you for the follow. And it looks like Whisper a Lullaby is following as well. Warning, when starting Visual Studio 2015 for Z# and Visual Basic projects, you can use the V6 project and add item templates for menu commands, tool windows, and VS packages. For more information, see What's New in the Visual Studio 2015 SDK. Thanks so much. What? All right, let's go back to the chat room. No problem, PC Bootsy. Always fun having these streams. 4 times a week you can catch us here. Lots more details down below on the channel here. Yeah, I've got to go pick up my daughter from school soon. We've got time. Ciao. I agree, Ancient Coder. That's gosh, I should get better about saying ciao. But otherwise I get tongue-tied. Wish I knew I would wake up becoming the 1402 Hot Play. Not 1402, 4502. Learned the basics of a few languages, and I'm ready for some small projects to start my portfolio. Well, PC Bootsy, we have a couple of little projects that we work on together here on stream. We're going to get back to our other project, Core Wiki, after we're done building a little bit here onto the project that helps us maintain this stream. Further down the site, there is a provider auto load attribute. Is there? I'm sorry. Thank you, Stelzy, for getting us back on track there. Auto load a VS package. Package, provide auto load. Set a breakpoint in the initialize method and start debugging. Fantastic. But this is... I think this is for the package. I think we need to add the package. Add a package? Let's add a new item. Extensibility package. I need a package. Package. Extension pack? I guess? I don't know. What's that do? No. That's not it. Got a package, people. Yeah, absolutely. How do we add a package? Add new item. Or is it... It's not in the manifest. Because the manifest looks like this. And that's not right. But wait a sec. Alright, whatever. We'll figure that out later. Not... Add a package. Add a package. Which one's the package? Because VS package. Custom command, custom tool window. I guess that's what that is. Seems to tell you how to set an appropriate breakpoint to step through your extension. Okay, well, we're getting there. That's exactly the kind of thing that I want to be able to do. Updating project items, references, and project... Thanks. Why is this taking so long? Okay. And then All right. Package GUID string. Okay. Yeah. Package members. Initialize async. There's something. Okay. When initialized asynchronously, the current thread may be on a background thread. Do any initialization that requires the UI thread after switching to the UI thread. Right. So I'm not going to do things like put... I'm not going to do things... I feel like I need to add an options. I'm going to need to add an options configuration to this as well. For extension invocations. Wow, Stelzy rocking the docs today. Great work. That would be for UI updates out of sync or something. Yes. Right, so adding features over there. Context GUIDs provides more GUIDs that are used to identify command contexts. Well, I'm eventually going to need to find the... Huh? I'm not sure what this is. All right. So I added the package. Now what? Public sealed class. Name of your package. Package. That sounded completely stupid reading. Looking at Visual Studio 2017, which workload should I start with for a C# beginner? Start with Windows Desktop. That'll get you things like console application, Windows Forms application, ASP.NET for... No, ASP.NET won't be in there. But start with the Windows. Add web development if you want to get into web development. How do I add tool windows? Create an extension with a tool window. Okay, you know what? I think this might be a heck of a lot easier to come in as a tool window. Subscribing to an event, extending the output window, extending properties, task list, output, and options windows. I think that's the one we want. Because the task list is also... Right, so they created a tool window, creating an options page. Yeah. Data available in a properties window. This might be a lot closer to what I want. The output window. I might want to use the output window to log things. Report error. Wait a sec. Create provider, new error task. This is it. I think this is it. This applies to Visual Studio 2017. Use the version selector in the top left. Hold on, dear lily white butts. Let's see if it's the right one. Yes! All right. We got it. I think we imitate this. Let's imitate and extend this tutorial. Let me paste this one in. What do you think? I think this gets us pretty close. Even though it says starting in Visual Studio 2015. I don't need to do a tool window. Right? You can access any tool window in Visual Studio. The walkthrough shows you how to integrate information about your tool window into a new options page and a new setting on the properties page, and how to write to the task list. Okay. So walking through this in chat room, keep me honest here. Keep me honest. We don't need a tool window because our tool window is actually the chat room. So everywhere where it does a tool window, let's receive that. Let's have an options configuration that lets me point to wherever my bot is running. I don't need settings on a properties page. However, I'm going to write onto the task list. So I do need that intermediary class. The tool window would be good to manually test the ting, test the thing, test the receiving. Maybe. I think this is pretty close. Yeah. Okay. So they set up a tool window, and then they create an options page. That's a dialog page. Like a buffer where you can see what is being pulled out of the chat. Bing the tool window to test the ting. Well done, Janeska. I would actually like to see it written to the output window. And maybe I can grab some of that from over here. Let's keep going down here. Okay, so this is the options page. Add a public double days ahead. Make the options page available to users. Provide option page. Okay, so that appears then in the options. Right. We did this with one of the first projects we worked on stream, Epic Build Music, I think it's called. Make data available to the properties window. Add a class named to do item. Right. I don't need the properties window. So there's the item that it's displaying. Yeah. Okay. Integrate into the properties window. Don't care about that one. Implement the track selection method. That's for the properties window. Don't care. Should drop and re-add the modified to-do item from the list box. Which, inside the tool window. That's fine. Okay. Add text to the output window and items to the task list. This is it. In to-do window, control XAML CS. Okay, so this is the tool window. Add code to the general pane, so when button click, then it's going and getting the output window, getting a pane. Well, that's not too painful. Track the selection, check for errors. Okay. In order to add items to the task list, you need to add a nested class that's it, that task provider. Okay. So, and it has a create provider. Add a private reference to the to-do task provider. Where's to-do task provider? And a create provider method to the to-do window control. Class, the code should look like this. Okay. Add clear, which clears the task, blah, 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 blah. This is manipulating the content of the error window. All right. I think this is it. Like a buffer where you can see what's being pulled up. Yeah. Okay. So I need that kickoff object that's actually going to kick off things. And I think that's what the package does, right? Because if we look at the package, the initialize, if I use the initialize to connect out to the chat bot that's actually collecting and analyzing the messages, right? Make that connection and hand off to some sort of a proxy that's doing that interaction over there. MouseX. Hey, hello. I have a couple of noob questions. Not a problem. What kind of extension are you doing for Visual Studio currently? Are the Visual Studio extensions always done? Oh no. Is it MouseX? How do you pronounce that? Or is it Monsieur? Let me know. So, what I'm building, let me show you how this runs right now. And then hopefully it'll start to click for you. I'm going to start a new instance of my Stream Tools project. It was about the bot, not my pronunciation. Oh, okay. So this is going to compile, start up, and this is an ASP.NET Core web application that manages all of this. Oh no, it's going to be amazing. All right, here we go. So what I can do I can go to this code suggestions page. Hey, Parathon, I merged in your change. I haven't deployed it yet, but it's coming. But you can send over code that looks like this. Code test.cs, some line, public string, foo, get, set, like that. And it appears on my screen from chat. And that's pretty cool. Right? So, we're going to make that you see there, put stuff into the task list here with your name on it, so that eventually I'll be able to click these items and jump right into that file. Yeah. Might need to double check the username for Dependabot. Not sure if it needs the bot part. We'll test it out. We'll figure it out. All right. So that's what this does. And I've already got a little bit of that buffer to make sure that it is loading properly into that the chatbot is receiving it and passing it along. I can set up my client. So I'm going to set up a SignalR client to listen and receive that information. So the point that Stelzy was saying, the provide auto load, where is it? Attribute tells Visual Studio to make an instance and invoke the initialize method. Okay. I don't see that here. And this constructor, yeah, it's just got some text in it. All right, so I'm gonna roll with what Stelzy is suggesting there. Let's delete this package. Delete that. Bye-bye. So, and I'm not sure if we need the error list provider, but let's go and create. And let's call this code suggestion proxy. Okay. This is going to be a public class. And we're going to decorate it with that attribute provide auto load UI context GUIDs 80 solution exists. All right, let's do some control dot in here and get some using statements. There we go. All right, to make an instance and invoke the initialize method. So let's back up here. No. Where'd that attribute come from? That was, we had that in a... Hey, Twitchloff. Good to see you. Where did that attribute come from? Provide auto load. There it is. Set a breakpoint in the initialize method. Well, yeah, this is for loading this package that's going to initialize and kick off all those things. So I think I did need a package. Right? Software modules that extend it by providing UI elements, services, projects. Yes. So I do want the package. Why I oughta. All right, delete this. Bye-bye. Add a new package. All right, so now we know what a Visual Studio package is. Extensibility package. And we will call this code suggestions package. And then the constructor somehow set up a thing that receives thing from the bot. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll get that proxy running. What's up, Twitchloff? It's been a while since I've caught up with you. How are things? I don't know what this does, but whatever. Package GUID string. Sure, whatever that does. I can get rid of that. I think this. Let me get rid of that provider. So we can come back and we know exactly what we're doing here. But in the package members, here is the initialization. So I don't need the UI thread. I can do this somewhere else. Just subscribe to my Twitch TV calendar. Noticed I have a Christmas Day and New Year on the schedule. Yeah, I'll bump those out. We'll remove those. I have a Twitch TV calendar? Where do I have a calendar? Oh, on my Google one. Yeah, I'm good. I haven't updated that in a while, and I will get that cleared up. All right. Let's see here. We want to do, right, well, we're going to want to have a static proxy that we're going to pass around and we're going to keep. So, right, that'll do that network connection. Code suggestion proxy equals new code suggestion proxy. And actually, I feel like there's one of these. Ooh, trying to work on adventofcode.com. Cool. You can drop the link in there. I don't block links anymore. I feel like my code suggestion proxy is going to be a singleton. So let's do something like this. And then let's create this class. And then I can create a static initialize method. Go away. Internal static, that's fine. Sure. Right? And I want to make sure that nobody else can create one of these. Private. So I'm going to use a singleton pattern here to make sure there only ever is one. So private static read-only. No, not read-only. Private static code suggestion proxy instance. Yeah. Instance equals new one of these, and I want to make sure that it can't be created. So I'm going to make the constructor private as well. Constructor, give me one of those. Thank you. Right? So by making the constructor private, nobody can create one. Put an attribute in front of the code suggestion package class, and it should start on solution load. Yep, it's already there. No, it's not. Inconceivable. There's another. I need that sound bite. Where did it go? It was here. Provide auto load. Like that. All right, now it should load as soon as the project opens, and we should now get one of these. So it's going to create a new one of these. Great. Instance needs a null check to only build once. You're right. You're right. If instance does not equal null, return. Okay, that's done. Why is that? Synchronous auto loads will be deprecated. Consider using background load flag, and it already is there. Huh. So I don't need that. All right. So now I'm initializing this, so it should be up and running. Instance equals new code suggestion proxy. So when we create one of these, I'm going to need to create now my SignalR client. Add, no, manage NuGet packages. Singletons in .NET. Oh, is this the, yeah, private static read only, and then doing the double check. Yeah. Yeah. Doing it with lazy of T. Yeah. I should do the double lock. Private static read only object instance lock equals new object. So this is a way to prevent it from being double created. If it does not equal null return, right, and then you end up locking on this. If instance does equal no, so now we're going to lock and then create. So we're going to lock, instance, lock. Need to double check, make sure. If instance does not equal, no, if instance is still null, then we're going to take this and actually do the thing. And it's a pain in the neck to do it like that, but it'll guarantee that we don't have duplicates created. Been trying out a concurrent dictionary approach. There seems pretty nice for having multiple singleton classes. Neat. All right, so now I've got my code suggestion proxy. I need the ASP.NET Core SignalR client. Do this one. Oh, I don't want the 3.0 preview. No, I didn't. No, decline. I refuse. Give me the stable. Fancy thread safety measures. Yeah. Could I install a package into a package that targets .NET Framework 4.6? You make me sad. This is .NET Standard 2.0, and the project is 4.6. We can fix that. We can fix that. All right, now try it. Where'd it go? Yee. Double open projects. Lame. Close all. Manage NuGet packages. There it is. We need a Twitch extension for Pretty Code. Yes. You're going to get one. It's coming. All right. Go get me that SignalR client. This one, not the 3.0, the latest stable. Go. Do it. Here it comes. Feeling good.
And then,
We're waiting for it to finish installing everything.
and then,
We'll start creating our SignalR client.
and then.
We'll see if it actually connects out and gets data for us. All right. Looks good. So inside my proxy, what I should be able to do is say client equals new Microsoft ASP.NET Core SignalR clients hub connection. Yeah. And I'm going to get rid of that namespace. So I get a nice using statement. Connection factory, protocol, logger factory. No. New hub connection equals hub connection builder. No. Oh, stop it. With URL, all right. Dude, that's what yours says. Yeah. We need to be able to prettyify code from there. So the URL that I'm going to when I run over here, Stream Tools, right now when it debug runs is on that location. So let's have it go there, and it's going to be coming off of, shoot, let me go to that page. So here's my code suggestions page, right? And it's got a little bit of script down here so it knows where to go. Stream Hub, get element by ID. On new code, hub start code suggestions. I've abstracted away some of this. Come on. Message hub pack hub protocol with the URL. All right. So that's where we're going. Hello. And groups equals code list. All right, so let's do that. Question mark, groups equals code list. And if I do build, it should, yeah, it's going to give me that connection. Fantastic. All right, create one of these. Why is this needed? Doesn't .NET support initialization of statics in a thread-safe manner? This is the way that they... Oh, you're referring to the creation of this. Initialization of statics in a thread-safe manner. Well, I could create a static, private static constructor. Yes. And I could make this a private static read-only instance of this. Yes. However, I don't want it to create it instantly as soon as the project starts. I want it to wait. I could do that with a lazy as well. But this is a little bit more verbose. All right, so I have my client now. I've built the client. I haven't actually connected to it. So I can say client dot, and now I can actually start saying on, and then receiving those method names. And if I go back to code suggestions, you'll see we have on new code is the name of the method that's going to be called. And then I have an action that it's going to actually do. What are we going to do with that thing? And the action, but statics are lazy. Are they? I don't know. I might be confused. You might be able to do that. As soon as they're referenced, they'll spin up. You might be right. I'm going to continue here. So I'm going to call an action when on new code happens. And this is where I'm going to start, right, where I'm going to bolt on this. Excuse me. Let's put something into the output window, not the properties window. Add text to the output window. Here we go. So I'm going to do something just like this. Add code to output window. That's going to be the action that we'll call. It's not a property, and it's not a field. It's going to be an action. So let's make this a private void since it's an action. Right, so an action is a delegate. We're passing the name of the method that we want it to call. And that will have passed into it, right, a suggestion. And that suggestion object, has all of these things that go along with it. We had started referencing and being able to receive that object directly into our code here. I'm going to copy and paste that object so I get the same size object coming in here. And that was under, it's in the bot somewhere. Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. I will find you. Hang on.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Very particular.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Very long career. SRP, single responsibility principle. Yes. Guten Nachmittag, Dangerheimer fan. And hey, Troop, good to see you. Let me see here. So our code suggestion has, it looks like this. I'm gonna steal this model. I know it's duplication, but I just want to get this running. We'll make it cleaner later. So we're going to receive a code suggestion. We'll just call that suggestion. Cool. And what I'm going to do from in here is I'm going to add to that error list. So let's steal that error list code. Right here. Now we don't know what parent is. I don't have parent. Let's, if pain output string, yeah, let's grab that. Start with this. All right. Hey, Sky Hoshi, good to see you. Sounds like a lazy static implementation. It is. Yes. Make it work, then make it pretty. My rules number 4. Amen. And this is going to be open source code, so if there's things in here that you want to update, you want to provide a suggestion for, you're always welcome to submit, and we'll improve. We'll improve things. Now, what's funny is my on statement here has a red line. Handler, type parameter types. Oh, yeah, we need the parameter type, don't we? No, wait, action T1, handler. Okay, so we need to put an on and make this receive on code suggestion. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. I think we're going in the right direction. Let me see here. So I don't have parent. Parent from this sample is the tool window control. Oh boy. Right, tool window control is the parent. Moving up here. Parent is the window. Okay, so this is bouncing off of that object to get access to... Where'd it go? To get access to the Get Visual Studio service, to get the VS output window. Okay. So if I don't need this, I don't need that. Don't think I need that right now. Nor that. All right, let's go back now to the extension over here. So if I'm coming from the package and I'm initializing here, can I get access? Right, I need to get access to the Get VS service, which comes off of a tool window. Let's see here. So if I could pass in... Let me see. What if... Let's tinker here for a second. Let's poke around. So option key, get service, get toolbox item data. Okay. Maybe get service? Get VS service. What's the difference between the two? If I say get service. Okay. What if I say... What if I pass that in? Will that... Okay. Asynchronously blocks. We're going to need to await it. Okay. As the output window. Right? So I'm trying to capture the output window in Visual Studio so I can write some log information into it. Right. So I need to assign that to something. So we say, if we call this output window... Should only be done on the main thread. Await joinable task factory. Switch to main async first. Okay, so that should happen down here. All right, good. So there we go. So if I move that here, oops. Fix that. All right. So now I've got a red line on this. Object does not contain a definition for get a waiter. Get service. Get service synchronously blocks. A wet... Oh. Sorry. That's better. Okay. Yeah, good call, Parathon. All right. So now I've got the output window. I feel like I should put that handle somewhere, right? Like, if I do this and I create a field... Right. Let's make this internal static. Oh, let's call it. Right now, I've got the output window here. Now I don't need to do any of. I don't need to do that. We need a using statement on this. Using statement on that. All right. Now I can say code suggestion package. Output window. You should be a var, sir. Thank you. Why doesn't it like that? There we go. Didn't spell it right. That helps. Get pane. Should be done on the main thread. Call thread helper. Throw if not on UI thread first. Sure. Go ahead, do that. I don't know. If pane does not equal null, pane output string, string.format. Fantastic. So let's do this. The pane output string. Suggestion dot username. New code suggestion from I think that'll do it. And then I need to start the client. We didn't start the client. That's fine. You see the age of the documentation. I know! Thanks so much, Mike. And, of course, the video will be available on my YouTube channel a little bit later. I should make this disposable. No. Why can't I type? And implement it with the dispose pattern. If disposing... yeah. We're going to take the client and we are going to stop. And we're going to dispose that as well. You know what? I think I could probably just do that. Get a waiter, get results. Joinable task factory.run. Fine. Joinable task factory.run. Yeah, didn't think so. Huh? What does it want me to do? I've never done this. You can't type because we're all watching. No. Joinable task factory.run. Yeah, then it's going to put an await and an async on that stuff. Don't like it. I'm going to do that instead. All right. So that should dispose of it properly. Let's give this a shot and see if it puts code on the output window. Not Docker Compose. So I need to start 2 of these. All right, here's what we're going to do. Fritz Stream Tools. Fritz Stream Tool. That's not it. Right, and .NET Run. So that's running and hanging out there. And then I'm going to start this. Okay, there's the... there it is. Isn't there an iDisposable async? There might be. Here we go. Here comes my test version of Visual Studio starting. Okay. So now if I open a project, and for this, let's try opening CoreWiki, just so I have something open. That's not good. Let's see. Come on. You can do it. Here comes CoreWiki. Come on. How many Visual Studios can I have open at once? Okay, it's not clear to me that it's actually out there and doing its thing. I don't see a report of where it's listening here. Right, let me make sure. Right, isn't that where it's running? How much RAM do I have? 16, I believe, on this one. Yeah, all right, so that's out there listening. Okay. So let's try sending some code into this and see what happens. Git collaboration package did not no. And it's not telling me. Inline reviews package, no. Fine, go away. Shoo. Output, out window general pane. Right. Restore completed, okay. See, that worries me. Code test CS 12. Public string foo. Yeah, that came through. It's not clear if it actually made it over here because I'm not getting my symbols loading, which is going to make debugging really, really, really hard. Right. Yeah, that didn't load either. Yeah. Now I'm at that point where the rails come off. See if the connection gets made. See, that experimental instance isn't loading these things. Right, debug. Start external program. Turn it on experimental mode. Start debugging at the constructor. It's not even loading it. Right, if I put a breakpoint here. All right, so here comes building, and then so that's still red. Gone. Didn't load it. Didn't load it. All right, that symbol means it didn't load. Yeah. I mean, it's not getting too much simpler than this, you know. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't want to load it in a different instance of Visual Studio. I want to load it into this one. Yeah. Let's see if anybody has any comments on this. Can't debug Visual Studio extensions. It doesn't attach. Yes, how do you debug those? Because inquiring minds would like to know. See if it shows up in the extension list. We'll take a look there. Start external program, devenv, yep, root suffix exp. Output window helper, output string. Yeah. Writes to the general output window pane. Yeah. You need to redo it for every developer every time you get a fresh copy of the code. Oh, no. Well, no, that works now. Wrong way. Sure, we'll take a look and see if it shows up in the extensions. Which would be really annoying if it wasn't. You know? Take a look, see. Come on. And... oh, come on. Extensions and updates. Hey, Qbyte Fennec. We are building... there it is. It's there. That's the old one that we were working on. But it's there, but it's not... didn't actually kick off. Right, so let me go open CoreWiki. And it should load in the background. So it is... yeah. So we should see it pop up. Finally going to admit that I have the flu. Oh, Veronica, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, that's the worst. Come on. Restore completed. And
then?
we're waiting to see if it actually does. I mean, I'm seeing... You can't see it behind me. Well, over here, over my shoulder. Right here. It's doing something. Right? But the package... I'm still not attached on the debugger. You know? Where is it? Debug. Attached to process. Right? Devenv should be in here. There's Discord. Yeah, I'm already attached to it. So I'm not quite sure. Let's do this. I got an idea. And you might think I'm crazy. Hello? I am trying to start. You're kidding, right? Thank you. My other Visual Studio extension. I might not have it on here. I don't. Let's go to my other Visual Studio extension and see how this is configured. Epic build music, there it is. Okay, so this has a user control for options page. Packages config. And it has a package, build music package. Here we go. Package registration. Yeah. Has a GUID. And it has provide auto load. I'm going to use that. The async package base class. That's... yeah. It's fine. Let's just try and get it running. Because this ends up calling initialize. Come on, get me in here, Visual Studio. I don't... It looks like they're right, but on the other hand, it's not actually loading these things. No. Well, wait a sec. Trying to load the project. And aha! Okay, did not load correctly. Problem may have been caused by configuration, blah, blah, blah. No. Okay, so something errored out. But we're getting somewhere. Progress. Absolutely, Veronica. So let's close that. Let's move this down here. And we know that works. Let's try this again. See if we can figure out what it's erroring out. Right on track. Slowly but surely. And don't call me Shirley. Come on. You can do it. There's another one I need. You can do it. Okay. Core Wiki, here we go. Let's see if this opens. Loading the projects. Doing the thing with the stuff. And I need to ensure that a project is loaded, because to run a live coding extension without a project open is stupid, you know? All right. So now we're going to do that initialize. Yeah. Lock it. Go get me one of these. Okay. New hub connection builder with URL, and it's going to go to this location. So let's copy that. Go. Make sure we can get there. Connection ID required.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Are you kidding? I can't just go there? What connection ID? Doesn't work. Huh. Well, that'll explain it. SignalR client connection ID required. No, I don't want it on the server side. The SignalR.net client, right. Install the package, new hub connection builder with URL, blah, 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 build. Good. New hub connection builder with URL, build. Start async. What's it doing? It's doing something. So now we uncomplicated the problem from a VS problem to a SignalR problem. Yes. But we're getting there. What time do we got? Oh my gosh, it's almost 1. I'm going to need to stop here. Because I have some things I need to get done today. And the community stand-up's about to start here on the Visual Studio channel. Ooh, we need to make sure that we're clear so they can do that. All right. And this is kind of hanging here. Well, that's going to be our problem. All right. I think we're in a better place. I think we're someplace where this is going to be significantly simpler. Significantly simpler? I didn't mean the alliteration. It just kind of happened. All right, let's do this. Let's start wrapping up here. Let's put our toys away, as it were. I'm going to commit these changes so that we have both sets of source code out there, and then we'll merge the two things together. So let me go down into Stream Tools. There they are. Of course, I am going to add Fritz Live Coding 2. Let's commit everything. Trying the simple straightforward approach to the extension. We'll debug and get into this a little bit further, see if there's something wrong. I'm going to try and reach out to some of my friends on the Visual Studio team and see if they can offer some insight on this, because I feel like we're right there and it's just not... I need to get past the initial complications of working with Visual Studio. The new KISS. Keep it significantly simpler. Yes, we are. Yes. All right. So that code is pushed up. I feel like we had a couple of great conversations today around software development careers and what it means to find a project that you love and to continue working on it. I think we had a great set of discussions there. I was thrilled to hear from Superbrain and what their experience was with writing and building applications for a part-time job and now being offered a full-time position. That's tremendous. Ancient Coder, I think you're right. We had a great conversation there and some good advice. And then we started going back and revisiting exactly how this Visual Studio extension works and how we're building it. So I think we're in a good place to pick up on Thursday. I'm going to make a couple phone calls to people, a couple of Discord connections to folks, and start putting together our HTML for Newbies series that we're working on. Don't worry that you missed the stream, Hugo. Everything will be archived and available on YouTube in just a little bit. But I'm going to wrap up. I'm actually going to end right here. I'm not going to transfer to anybody. You know what? Yeah, I think, I'm going to end right here because in about 10 minutes, the fellows on the ASP.NET Community Stand-Up, that's John Galloway, Damian Edwards, and Scott Hanselman, they're going to be starting up on the Visual Studio channel. So if you head over to Twitch TV/Visual Studio, and it'll be hosted on this channel as well, they're going to start broadcasting in about 10 minutes. Alrighty? Guten Morgen, yes. Enjoy that. You can watch the VOD on Twitch. YouTube will be available later. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. I'm going to go take care of a couple things that I have to take care of. And we will see you on Thursday. Alrighty? Take care. We'll see you then. Bye.